Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You are listening to Society Bites Radio. My name is Jillian Beth, and I'm an intuitive healer and coach on a mission to empower women by reconnecting them to their inner wisdom. And I'm so grateful to have all of you here with us today. This is going to be an exciting show. The tables are turning, and that's what I like to call it. We're talking about real estate and finances with a very special guest, MARITZA Roxanne. And do make sure that not only you stay tuned next week, because she's going to be back, we'll have another fun conversation, but I also want to make sure you stay tuned to the end because she has something special she wants to share with all of you. So a little bit about her. She is the author of a book called Don't F with My Joy. You gotta love that title. Her TEDx talk, podcast, blog, and apparel are all available on her website, which is iamhappiest.com. Her menu allows her to share her perspective through the happiest lens. And through each option on the menu she has there, it's aimed for you to really stay at your happiest level, to level up and to maintain that. She asks questions that have you looking through the happiest lens even more. And who doesn't want to be at their happiest? So welcome, Maritza.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun, especially for so many of my listeners. I've been doing this for over a year now, and I definitely have talked about many different subjects with all the different amazing guests that I've had on here. But you asked me to do something a little bit different, and that was you're like, let me interview you. What made you want to do that, Maritza?
Well, because we connected originally through the love I have for commercial real estate.
Yeah.
And when we actually spoke on the phone and we actually connected and have a conversation, we spoke about everything but real estate, probably.
That's so true. That's probably so true. And I'm going to do my best to allow you to interview me. Um, one of the things that I'm sure a lot of the listeners don't know about me is I do have a very wide, varied background in real estate. And I actually still do coaching in real estate as well. So this should be a lot of fun. I guess I'll let you take over.
Sounds like a plan. So first and foremost, thank you for allowing me to ask you questions. For me, that is a gift to
Yeah.
be able to have that honor and that privilege and that trust. So I want to acknowledge you for that. And I want to thank you for that in advance.
Thank you. Absolutely. I think it should be a lot of fun.
Awesome. So the first question is, will you like to share your happiest memory about your financial self-care?
Yeah, good question. So, my happiest memory, and I love how you word these questions because I know so much of what you do is the happiest everything, right? So, in just thinking about financial self-care, for so much of my life, it was something that I avoided, quite honestly. And I'm sure there's many women and just listeners in general who can relate to that. So I remember one of the scariest, but turned into the happiest actually memories was gaining more control and understanding where I was. And that meant literally getting a copy of my credit report and going through it to understand what was on there, what's my credit score, where really do I stand within, I guess, society as a whole, because so much is based on that number they give us. So I would say that is one of the things, and I really want to share one other thing if I could throw it in there. Would that be okay?
Of course.
Awesome. One of the other empowering, because so much of what I talk about is empowering individuals as well. Something that was extremely empowering for me was actually having a friend of mine go through and create a budget with me. And it was as simple as laying out what my monthly bills are, what the due dates are, my credit card interest rates. And just finding out all of that information and laying it out on an Excel spreadsheet, although it seemed kind of simple, it it allowed me to feel so much more in control and empowered. And for me, that put me in a very happy place. So I would say those were definitely some of my happiest memories.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and I believe everybody defines the word happiest differently, and that's the beauty of life is that we're all so different. And so
Yeah.
I love to hear your perspective. And I also believe everybody defines financial self-care differently as well, depending where they are on the journey of financial wealth. And so I'm so eager to hear your perspective and so thankful to hear your perspective because we get to learn from each other and glean from each other and then
Abs-
enhance ourselves.
yeah, absolutely. Is there anything, and I can't help but ask this, and if something comes up, cool, and if not, that's okay too, but is there anything additional or I guess that you would like to add that you think would be valuable for the listeners about financial self-care?
Absolutely. So I I'm gonna speak on it from a high level perspective,
Mm-hmm.
simply because I love knowing why people do what they do and the ultimate reason for it. And I love doing that for myself too and going through that self inquiry of
Mm-hmm.
why am I doing what I'm doing and why am I being what I'm being for what? And so the way I look at it is I've been given a God given destiny. And in order to fulfill that God given destiny, finances are really important. And financial care, self care rather, is even more important.
Mm.
And that includes everything from financial education to the application of that education on a daily
Mm-hmm.
basis,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. But the impetus, the motivation, the inspiration comes from that God-given destiny that I'm so clear on, and that only gets clearer and clearer as the days move.
Mm.
So when things get tough, be it financially or something else, right? I have all of the reasons why to keep moving forward and to keep going in a way that I'm enjoying myself through the process because it's so much about it is enjoying yourself through the process and the destinations.
It's so incredibly true. And I love so much of what you shared in there, and I'm glad you did. So thank you for that. Because, you know, I truly believe that when you talk about destiny or purpose or the things that we're here to fulfill, if you believe in a higher power, a God, whoever your source is, where this all comes from, we have to be supported. And if finances, money, is the way that it happens, we have to know that that is going to happen along that journey as well. And we can actually be so much more impactful with more financial self-care. So it's quite surprising to me, even, as you're speaking, I'm thinking about growing up in school. And I don't know if things have changed. Hopefully they have for the better. I'm almost 40 years old. It's been a while since I've been in middle school, high school, all of that. But, we didn't have a basic class even on back then. It was how to balance a checkbook, and there's so many different financial pieces that in my mind should be like a minimum, a standard. And that's definitely not something, at least, that I was taught here in the United States growing up, which was unfortunate because my family generation as well, being a little bit older, they didn't speak about finances, not to children. It was more children are seen and not heard. So it took me a long time to even really look at finances, to want to understand it, any of that.
I understand completely. I understand completely.
Yeah.
Hmm. I would love to ask you the next question if you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, again, I'm going to lean in on the happiest parts
Yeah.
because when it comes to financial self care, not all of it is so happy. So, focusing on the happiest parts actually reminds us that there are some enjoyable moments in this journey.
Yeah.
So, will you like to share your happiest memory about your world in real estate?
Ooh, yes. So, the thing that truly touches my soul in the most profound way is or are the moments where I get to see the look on somebody's face when they are able to walk into this home that they've been dreaming about and built from the ground up, or to be able to hear the excitement in somebody's voice when they get their first property under contract. And knowing that that happened through any bit of what I've done with them through coaching or whatever is hands down the happiest moments that I have. There is nothing like that to me, to be able to do something that I love so much and see that that also has such a profound impact on somebody else.
I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so awesome. And as you know, I'm gaining more knowledge and understanding and wisdom
Yeah.
about commercial real estate. So I love hearing your stories about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just for the listeners out there, again, because this is definitely a topic that I haven't really touched on my show, there are, well, and I think we're going to get into this in later questions, but I'm getting excited now because, you talking about commercial, I have a background in coaching real estate, but I've also done property management and I've done appraisal work and helped people build their homes from the ground up and help people start investment companies. So there's just so many cool aspects to the business. It's fun to be able to talk about this. So thank you for that.
Oh my goodness. I love that you have a wide spectrum within real estate.
Yeah.
That's not something that happens overnight.
It doesn't. I've been in real estate in one way or another, I would say for probably, well, about a decade. Studied different aspects of it. And there will always be something about real estate that holds a special place in my heart. And part of it could be too, for any of the listeners that have been with me for a while, I tend to move around the country. I've lived in a lot of different places and I've, visited places overseas and I'm always drawn to cool architecture and looking at finishes in a place and just like how things were built. I don't know why, but it's extremely fascinating to me, maybe partly because I know that there's so many people that go into even just building a house, from the contractors who work on it to the individuals who help you with it to who did that ground belong to, before you put your beautiful new home on it. There's history and there's so many hands that touch every piece of it.
And such a beautiful way to see it.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. So, this brings me to my next question. So, will you like to share what you wish more ladies knew about real estate?
Yeah, love, love, love this question. And, after thinking about it for a little while, it actually goes back